All right, now before you go out to buy a car radio, there are a number of things that you need to understand. Number one is the type. Now, car radios usually come in two types. There is a single DIN and then there is a double DIN. Single DIN are the smaller radios. They are usually half the size of the double DIN, and these were the versions that first came out to the market. And they are cheaper than the double DINs. And then the double DIN is the bigger version that has a number of features, and it's twice the size of the single DIN, and it's also more expensive compared to the single DIN. To simply differentiate the two, you need to understand that that single DIN is a small version or the small radio, and then the double DIN is the big radio. Then number two, the features. Single DIN usually comes with very few features. They usually have an FM radio. Some of them have a slot for the memory card and then for the USB. Then there are others that also have a CD drive and very few other features. Then the double DIN, which is the bigger version, has a number of features. For it has a bigger screen, which is usually a touch screen. It can play videos, it can play music, it can support a reverse camera. Some of them can connect to the internet, and then some others can also download apps. So for it has a number of features, and that's also the reason why it's a bit more expensive. Then number three, the size. So single DINs usually come in only one size. So all the types that you'll see, they'll usually be in the same size. But for the double DIN, there's a 7-inch, there's an 8-inch, 9-inch, 10-inch, and very many other sizes depending on the car that you're going to install it in. For size 7 and size 8, now those are the radios that will perfectly fit in your car dashboard. So basically, if you want a radio that goes into the dashboard and fits in perfectly, you'll have to choose between size 7 and size 8. But now for size 9 and size 10, those are kind of bigger radios. So of course you have to get a plastic frame to hold them, which is known as a console box. So if you want to install a radio that is bigger than the space that is available in the dashboard, you can find something called a console box that they can install on the dashboard to hold that type of radio. Now that we've talked about the types, which is the single DIN and the double DIN, there's an extra categorization that we need to look into, which is MP5 versus Android, which takes me to point number 4. These look similar, they have a number of similarities, but they are totally different. An Android radio is a radio that strictly uses Android software or Android operating system to run, while the MP5 uses a different type of software. So there are a number of similarities, like both of them can play videos, can connect to the reverse camera, they can support phone link, so they can have CarPlay or Android Auto, both of them. But there are also a number of differences. Number one, the main difference is the fact that Android radios use Android. And also when you go to the settings, you'll be able to see the type of Android that radio is running on. But the MP5, usually they use a totally different type of software to run. The second difference is that Android radios usually have internal storage, which means that you can download something from the internet like a movie and it goes straight to the radio, so you can watch it there without the need to use a flash disk, a memory card, or a CD drive to play the movie from the CD or from an external source. While the MP5, for it, if you want to play anything, maybe a music video, a song, you have to either insert a flash, a memory card, or a CD. Then Android radios connect to the internet, usually by Wi-Fi, while for the MP5, usually most of them don't support internet connectivity. And finally, there's the customization bit. For Android radios, you can customize by changing the theme, changing the look and feel of the radio, because by default Android supports that, while in most MP5 radios you can't support that type of customization. The way the radio came is actually the way you're going to use that radio, and there's nothing you can change. Point number 5 is the prices. So on the price grid, the single DINs are usually cheaper than the double DINs. When I say double DINs, I mean MP5 radios plus Android radios. Then point number 6 is the Japan radios. So Japan radios are these radios that come pre-installed in most cars that come from Japan. Some people tend to think that because they have bigger touch screens, they are actually Android radios, which is not true. There's a lot of information that we need to look into in regards to the radios that come from Japan. but that will be in an extra video that I will upload soon. Number 7, the design. Now, for car radios, the design will usually depend on the type of car that you have, because there are radios that have buttons on the sides, there are radios that have buttons at the bottom. So it all depends on the type of design that you're going to buy, but you should be able to find a design that fits well in your car. And for the single DINs, these have also been updated to have a better, bigger screen, and also to support some extra applications to be just like the MP5s on the side of the double DIN. And then finally, number 8 is the usage. Most saloon cars use 12V, and then the trucks use 24V. So that means when you go to the market to look for a radio, you should know what exactly you're looking for. If the radio is going to be fitted into a truck, it should be a 24V, and if it's a small car or an SUV, that should be a 12V. So that should be at the back of your mind to be able to find a better radio. So in conclusion, there's a number of things I understand that I might have left out in this video, but please feel free to leave your question in the comment section and I'll be able to get back to you soonest. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video. Bless.